hello, hello. I am Lashon Dorsey. I am so amazed at being a part of the Resistance, where Von McGee is the founder. We do a little synopsis, a little piece of Resistance called Psalms and Coffee. And where I love coffee, coffee is one of my favorite drinks of the day. I also love Psalms. And so the collaboration of the two, it is amazing. And so what coffee does for an individual who loves coffee, it settles your nerves, it gets you flowing, and it gets you going. And the Psalms also is a book, it's of wisdom, of direction, of instructions. And so put those two together, it's an amazing combination. And so I am so honored on this time to join you all with Psalms and Coffee, Psalms 91, which is one of my favorite Psalms. And I hope by the end of this, you'll feel the same way. I'll read a few verses, and we're just talking, we're just having a conversation. Psalms 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. So I read the first 5 verses. We'll go through it. I may just get through the first 2 or 3, but we'll see how it goes. But I want you to walk on a journey with me as we talk about Psalms 91. It was composed by Moses. I always want to give a little foundation, which conveys the themes of God's protection and rescue from danger. And this is such a time in which we live in. We got COVID on one side, we got social injustice, we also got people leaving this earth prematurely. We're dealing with so many different facets on a day-to-day basis. Some are jobless, some have cut hours financially. What does it look like for a single mama trying to take care of her babies in this season? What does it look like for a father who wants to cover his family in a particular way but feels that is resistance? And so protection is very important. One of the things, we had Father's Day a couple weeks ago, and one of the things I asked my sons, my husband doesn't know this, I asked him, I said, what is your father's superpower, right? What is his superpower to you? Now, his superpower to me is different because I'm wife, but what is it to you as being a son of your father? And one of my sons said, the superpower that and it took him a minute because I can tell he was methodically thinking, is that I feel protected. I feel safe when dad is around. As a child and as a young adult, because at this time, I mean, now he's like 27, 28, I feel protected yet in his presence. And so that really registered to me, that really ministered to me as a boy, as a teenager, now as a young adult male. He still feels the safetiness, the protection of his natural father. Could you imagine us as people of God having that same protection on another scale from our spiritual father? And so it's very essential to know that God is our protector. He's our guider. And when we dwell, when we live, when we abide under His secret place, where that place is where you go to prayer, to go intercession, fasting, when we get up under that shelter, up under that, they call this shelter in place. But I say it a little different. Shelter in place versus being placed in His shelter. It's different. It reads a whole nother theology. It gives you a whole nother concept of really going through your hard place, your tough times. It gives you a whole new looking, a vision when it's dark. God gives you a flashlight to look. You got that laser beam moving forward. And so He is our daddy. He's our father. He is our protector. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Hidden in plain sight, they say 4 names of the Lord, and we're going to digest that. We're going to break it down a little bit. The first name, the Most High, in the Hebrew word is Elyon. The name signifies God's majesty, sovereignty, and his preeminence. We are reminded in this passage that we live, breathe, move, and have our rest in God. He is our everything. He assures us of protection, comfort, and care. So that's where that scripture comes alive. Cast your cares upon him because he is concerned about you. Baby girl, he is concerned about your heartbeat. He's concerned about your heartache. He is concerned about you. When you cast, you do it like a pitcher. You ball it up and you pitch it straight to him. That's what that word means. You cast it, you throw it, you shed it off, you shake it off, you give it to him at his feet because he is concerned about you. Yes, he's concerned about the whole entire world, and he's concerned about your little issues that you're dealing with. He's concerned about us. It reminds me as don't dwell on the news or of your past. We don't dwell on anxiety or worry or pandemic, what's going on. He is our dwelling place. At the beginning of COVID-19, I'm a nurse, and so it was just heightened. See, it was moving, it was going, things was changing. You know, it was changing for you too. You know, what do we do? Do we stay in? How do I teach my babies? Some of y'all was teaching, y'all were teachers, and y'all were teaching your babies. It was a new thing, so what do I do? And so what happened is you would listen at the news, we're looking at everything and listening to everything. And so what we had to do was really shut our minds off of what was going on in the world and really focus on the Lord because he is our saving grace. And I needed to refocus and revamp my thought process because fear was trying to overtake. But when you're under the protection of the Lord, you may have a reason to fear, but you don't have a right to stay there. You don't have a right to. The word is powerful. And when we lean up on it, when we hide up under it, when we get into the shelter, the dwelling place, abiding, sitting, resting, and remaining with him, he's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful to shift us. He's faithful to shed light on some issues. He's faithful to us to give us peace in a hard place. He's faithful to shed light in a dark area. He is faithful to give you rest when there's restlessness all around. And so one day I had to tell one of my nurses, if you move in fear, you're liable to kill somebody because you're in fear. You've lost your training, your stages, your process, your phases. You're liable to kill someone because you're moving in fear. And so even for us as people of God, when we move in fear, it removes the faith shield. And before you know it, you moving in your own energy. You're working in your own flesh. You're moving out of faith and you're moving into fear. And the courage that you had to move forward, it dissipates. And you're moving on your own mindset, your own thought process. And it removes you from that shadow. It removes you from that shadow. It removes you from that shelter of God. And so once you can cast it, throw it on him, and begin to move in faith and understand to know that God is our everything. He's our protector. Just like my son said when he was a boy, his dad was his safe place. He was his protector. When he was a teenager, when my dad showed up, I knew things was going to be shifted. I didn't have nothing to worry about. And as a man, when I'm in his presence, I feel protected. That's how our daddy is for us. When we enter into new phases and stages of life, he is our protector. He ain't changed. It ain't changed. It ain't changed because even in our disobedience, it still doesn't change. We may not see it or feel it that way, but it ain't changed. He is our covering. He is our shelter, and we need to abide in him. He is our dwelling place. It is where we live in, hang out, reside, abide, lodge in. We stay there. We like, listen, I'm rooted here. I'm planted here. So eventually I'm going to blossom in my trust in him. The second name is Almighty. Almighty. It's translated from the word Shaddai. Means a God mighty beyond our imagination, our comprehension, our little small box thinking. Come on now. Sometimes he got to put us in positions so he can outthink us. Because we always thinking in one way. No, baby girl, no, bruh. We're going to go it this way. Let's do it this way. I'm stretching you. I'm stretching you because I know you can expand. I know the capacity that you have to carry my weight in this earth realm. So yes, you will be stretched. Yes, yes, yes. I'm almighty. I'm all-knowing. I know what you don't know. It's beyond our imagination, our comprehension. It appears 48 times in the Bible and reference that God is the God of the wilderness or God of the mountains. See, we got a diverse Father. He going to be with you in your low place when you struggling, you straggly, and you raggedy. He is with you. You understand that? In your wilderness, what does wilderness represent to you? Take a minute and think about one of your wilderness. Or what does wilderness mean to you? A dry place, a desolate land, no water. You don't see nothing. It's heat. It's hot. Ain't nobody around. If they are, they're inside trying to worry about their stuff. He's with you there and on the mountaintop when you're in a high place, when you may have your mindset right, because it ain't always about money. In this season, it's about having a sound mind. You hear me? A sound, sober thinking process. It's so many darts coming at us that shift the mental processes. We're dealing with mental illness in a whole nother level that we could ever imagine. And so having a sound mind is $1 million. You understand that? Because you can turn that 1,000 into something because you got a sound mind. You got a sober thinking process. So yes, Almighty. God can cause mountains to tumble. He can part the seas, and he can protect us from the enemy. He is our protector. He is our protector. Don't get it twisted. Because you're hurting and you're dealing with diseases and disorder doesn't mean he's not there. He's yet protecting you. He's yet protecting us. He's protecting our families, even in this social unjust season that we're in. The highlights of it, because it's here. The highlights of it, he is with us. He is protecting us. He's allowing us to know that it's not just a color issue. It's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. The heart of man is deceiving. It's deceptive. It's corrupt. But when we have a daddy that protects us and shields us, no, baby girl, come this way. No, I need you to go this way. Cover your family this way. No, it's time to unplug. It's time to disconnect. When we find ourselves positioned, and this is what this Psalms is about, it's about positioning yourself to hear the posture of God concerning your life. That's what this is about. And in positioning ourselves, we see God in a new way. All right? Almighty. So this second name, Almighty, is translated to Shaddai. So we're going to go to the third name. The third name, the Lord translates to Yahweh. I love this. This is one of my favorites because it's personal. It's like I'm sitting up on his lap in the cleft of his neck, and I can weep, and I can release, and I can begin to share some things about Lashon, about me that nobody knows. He knows some things, my desires, my struggles and my strengths, my weaknesses, my ups and my downs. My low self-esteem time, I can share that with him. He is my personal God. So this Yahweh is a personal name of God. It revealed to Moses in the burning bush in Exodus 6:2. It means that the Lord is God who is all powerful, all knowing, and knows us on a deep, intimate level. The intimacy. Into me, you see everything about me. I ain't trying to hide nothing. I'm like Adam and Eve in the beginning of the earth when they walked with nothing on. That's how I'm with God, with Yahweh. That's that intimacy that we hold with him, and we're connected with him in that deep place. A lot of us, we're scared to take things off because people have hurt us. They have harmed us. They have actually violated us and took things away from us and took things off of us. But we with our Father, our protector, our safety net. He's even more than a safety net. He is safety. He is safety. And so the intimacy, Yahweh, that's the third name. The Lord translates to Yahweh. Say Yahweh, 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 the intimacy. He knows the color of our eyes, the number of our heads. He created heavens and earth. A God that can create something so vast, but then so minutely know how many hairs I have on my head. He knows my edges. He knows my edges is struggling. He knows those things. That's how intimate Yahweh is. All right? The fourth name, my God, comes from the Hebrew Elohim. This name first appears as the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It means supreme one, mighty one. We got all these in one. This is who our God is. This is who we serve. He is the mantle of our being. He's the lover of our souls. He's the lifter of our heads. He waters us in dry places where nobody knows we dry. He strengthens us in areas when we are weak. When the world is gone dark, we are the light in it. You understand that? That's when we shine the brightest, is in the midst of darkness. He protects us. He secures us. He defines us. He covers us. He is our safety place. He is. Just like when my son shared that with me about his father being a protector. Those are some of the, and when I saw him sharing it, he went into depth with it. And I saw his face do some different things that it usually doesn't. Like, it was really intense. Then it went to funny, because my husband is kind of a little funny at times. He ain't as deep as I am, you know. He really is lighthearted, and they love that about him. They love that mixture. But when he starts talking about just when I am in his presence, I feel protected, because as men in the world, a lot of times you are looked at as the protector. But for this young man who's in the world that looks at him, they weaponize him before they even speak to him. He can come in an environment and feel protected. And that's where the confidence is built. That's the consistency of love. And before you know it, you have a level of discipline where you feel good about yourself. It goes far than just saying he's my protector. It builds character. It builds your esteem on another level. And if it's going to do this on a natural level, can you imagine it, what it does to a spiritual level? Yeah, you with me. You got it. So when we read the whole chapter, we will realize that the shelter being referred to is actually a fortress or a tower, something you run into it. The righteous run in and they are safe. We are safe under the shelter of the Most High. We're safe in the tower, the fortress. The Jerusalem Bible puts it very well as follows. If you live in the shelter of Eloyon, and make your home in the shadow of Shaddai, you can say to Yahweh, our intimate daddy, my refuge, my fortress, my God, in him I trust. I will trust the Lord with all my heart. I will trust him. I will love him. I will look to him. I will lean to him. And that's what we're asking and saying and sharing with you all. In Psalms 91, just the beginning, the first three verses as they talk about the shelter. I want to leave you guys with that part. I want to leave you with that. In the midst of pandemic, and I'm telling you, we're in a pandemic, but it doesn't mean our Father has left us. He is our protection. In the midst of the earth being unsettled, guess what? You are the solution. You are the solution. So don't get bothered. Go into the fortress. Go into the tower. Trust our daddy. He has us. At such a time as this, for the body of believers to rise up. At such a time as this, as we've been hidden away in our secret place, we live there, we dwell there, we abide there. So when we move out of that, it's a piece of us, it's a part of him that goes with us wherever we go. So at such a time as this, you plug into him, you put your trust in him, you allow him to offer up the protection that he wants to give us, because he is our daddy and he is concerned about us. He's concerned about you. He's concerned about the body of believers. We love you on today. I went over 3-4 verses. I'll go to part 2 next, but this was Psalms 91. We love and appreciate you all. You all have an amazing, amazing day on today.